Hi, thanks for tuning in to watch my latest tutorial. I'm creating a vintage pin-up girl inspired look today, which is one of my favourite makeups to wear and also something that's requested all the time by my clients too. I do loads of vintage weddings and vintage makeovers, I love it. I've applied my base off camera, so I'll list the products I use below, and I've just set that with a pressed powder just to give a really nice matte finish to the skin. I'm also adding a tiny little bit of shape using the Love Triangle contouring powder by Geek. Nothing too strong or too heavy, just a tiny bit underneath my cheekbones and around the perimeters of my face too. I'm now going to go in with the Love Affair blush by Geek, a really nice bright pinky red colour which I thought would fit really well with a vintage look. I'm using a B Cosmetics angled brush to apply this. I'm being quite generous but also being careful just to tap any excess product off my brush because this colour is quite pigmented and does come up quite strong on the skin. I'm highlighting just a little bit with the Becca Cosmetics Pearl Highlighter, just applying it to the high points of my cheekbones, a little bit to my nose, and then just a very, very light dusting through the centre of my face. I want to keep the skin fairly matte and not too glowy. I feel that that's what vintage was all about, like a nice kind of flawless matte base, but a little bit of shine gives it a bit of a modern feel, which is cool. I'm using one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes. I bought this years and years ago and most of my clients will recognise it because I love it so much. I was really happy to find this brand new one in TK Maxx a few weeks ago in the sale. I'm starting off using this light kind of taupey brown colour called Tufted Suede. I'm just going back and forth with a nice fluffy brush just through my socket line to enhance the natural shape of my eyes. I then go and just deepen that slightly using the Chinchilla shade. If you want, you could dip into the Coffee Bean shade as well. I've done that just slightly on the outer corners just to give them a little bit more depth. This is all about natural definition but with a little bit of a boost. I've put a mixture of the two light shades in the palette as well, Velveteen Bunny and Fresh Linen, just across the lid and under my brow bone to add some contrast. I'm just going back and forth with a nice fluffy blending brush to make sure all those shades are blended together really nicely, and then using a pencil brush, I think this one is from Morphe, underneath my eyes using that Coffee Bean chocolate brown shade to add a bit of depth underneath my eyes as well. I've wiped off that same brush and I'm using the Becca highlighter to brighten up the inner corners of my eyes and just under my brow bone. So most of the eye is matte, but with just a tiny little bit of shimmer to highlight. I'm using this Kiko Cosmetics liner to create a nice big eyeliner wing. I've just gone up close to put this, this little mirror right near my eyes so I can see what I'm doing. I think the pressure of doing my eyeliner on camera really got to me, so I feel like I could have done a better job. It's not quite as sharp as I would normally have it, but I was stressing out a little bit, I'm not going to lie. So I'm following the natural shape of my eye and then just extending it quite dramatically at the outer corner to create that wing. I'm also being really careful to go right into the inner corner as well because I think that just finishes it off so nicely. There's nothing more annoying than someone that forgets to apply it to the inner corner. It can make your eye shape look a little bit funny. So I've just evened that up off camera and I've applied some Ardell 111 lashes, which have got a really nice winged shape. I'm now going to go in and do my brows, and I want to do them just a little bit thicker and give them a little bit more of a vintage shape that I normally would. So I'm starting off by using this Anastasis Beverly Hills brow definer to follow the natural shape of my brows and kind of fill them in pretty similar to how I normally would, before I then go in and just add a little bit more shape just to give my makeup that vintage feel. Again, I do need to have a closer look for this. So making them darker towards the outer tail of the brow, so kind of from the middle to the outer edge, and leaving them just a little bit lighter on the inside point of the brow, just so they don't look too heavy and frightening. Nobody wants that. I've also squared off that inner edge I think that was quite a popular shape back in the day, 1940s and 1950s. When you look at the brows, they were quite often a little bit squared off, really nice and defined. And I'm using the little comb that's provided on the other end of the pencil just to soften them up a little bit, make sure the product's spread through the brows nice and evenly. The pencil's quite waxy and it does give you quite a lot of time to work with it, so it doesn't set immediately onto the brows and onto the brow hairs, so it does give you a little bit of time just to comb it through or to make any corrections that you need to. I'm now going to do a nice bright red lip, my favourite, and I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Kiss and Tell pencil. These pencils are quite waxy, so if you like to overdraw your lips, they're really, really good for that. And I'm just following my natural lip shape and maybe just drawing over the lines slightly, not too much. Getting a nice defined cupid's bow as well. I think that always looks really pretty with a vintage look. And I'm using the B Cosmetics at Superdrug Dita lipstick. It's a really nice vibrant matte red. I've used this on loads of clients since I bought it. It looks so fab on so many different people. It's my new favourite product. And then just going back in with that pencil to just tidy up the shape a little bit where I need to. Now I'm going to go in and do one of my favourite little tricks. So I'm just using a tiny little flat brush. This one's from ELF Cosmetics, but any little sort of flat concealer brush or anything like that would do. And I'm going in with some cream concealer and just sharpening up around my brows and around my lip line as well. It's really good if you've made any little smudges, even with your eyeliner or your mascara or anything like that. You can go in and kind of erase any mistakes you've made. Also, if you're wearing something really defined, like a really bold eyebrow or a bold lip colour, if you just go around the edge, it can make it look that much sharper and crisper. It shows up really nicely on a camera as well if you're having any pictures taken. And that's the finished look. I absolutely love to do vintage hairstyling as well. Not so much on myself, it does stress me out. I'm not a big fan of doing my own hair, but on other people, for my clients, I love to create vintage styles. Lots of curls, waves, rolls, it's definitely my favourite. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you have any ideas for what you want me to film next, just let me know.